I will update you guys really quickly. I haven't updated you folks in a while. I'm now with those guys. I was just on the toilet. So we're gonna go down the nail shop now. Just looked for another cover for my S22 and potentially glass for it if you can find it. So yeah, I'll update you guys when we're home. But the 3060, that 3090 is in the car. And yeah, so we'll be chugging along. Det, och så slår jag på där, ja. Well, then we got our stuff in the back. Got the motherboard, we got the AIO, the GPU, CPU and RAM I have at home. For the media computer, the only thing we do not have is a power supply because I was, well, that one is about 2.5 hours out because I thought I had filtered my search, but I had not. So we are on our way home from there. See you folks when we're home. Okay, Oscar has left. Gotten our CPU in, our RAM in. So now this board is gonna go inside of the red case. I've also cleaned up a bit. Gotten all my card stuff in this box, so it's out of the way. Now I'm gonna clean the rest of the sofa, clean the tables. We actually have space to work on this thing. Oscar has gone home already. I've already found out that, well, my USB hub is gone. So you can very clearly see right there. Because my brain had an oopsie. Basically, with alternating current, if you send the live down through a cable, unless it has its matching pair of neutral, power will not go through there to a device. But with direct current, it goes wherever the fuck there is a ground. If it's 12 volt the plus side. So basically what happens was that I have my 12 volt go through the ignition switch, and the 12 volt will go directly into the ground of this thing, which means it burnt out this thing. So that's why this thing and the USB joystick holder is gone. So yeah, so in this shit and we'll be back. Okay, we are ready to lower in our motherboard. Yeah, that was kind of what I thought. So I need to go out with that last fan. Kind of knew that would be a problem. These are 140mm fans, and I had a feeling that would become a problem. So that fan needs to go out, and then I'll probably mount the AIO here. We'll see what I do. I'm gonna pop out that fan. Okay, I got the fan out. So now we're gonna put in my motherboard right there. Good, we got all our screws. So now I'm gonna quickly screw this thing in. Okay, I got the motherboard in here. Only got 3 screws in. Now, one of the fan cables are gonna have to be routed here, because I don't know what it is, but on some of these older motherboards, they have a chassis fan header here and the AIO. Now, here is the problem that I did not think about. The actual pump needs to be plugged into there. Oh wait, this one has 2 fan ports. Hold up, wait a minute. Maybe, hold up. That means I can connect my 2 front fans on there, so maybe it is fine. And then I can connect this one directly to the... Well, the AIO fan is pretty much gonna have to be on here, but I can connect another fan onto here as well. So never mind, maybe we're fine. Anywho, I'm gonna go get the AIO mounted. Okay, I got it in. 2 screws only. After drilling a little bit out this hole, she will clear the top panel, but just about. So now I'm gonna put some thermal paste on the CPU, clamp down the CPU block, then try and route some cables, start plugging in some drives and shit. So I got her in here. So this one will just turn around, But right into here, we'll have a lot of cables extended on the top here, but it'll be fine. So yeah, system alone to USD, but my frames are terrible. So I got the cooler in, the thermal paste, AIO in, and that at the back. Got the USB in, HD audio, USB 3.0, power switch, and all of that nice stuff. The thing I got, and I got that the fan header up in there. So what I have to that is EPS 24 pin DVD drive, I guess. SATA. Well, after that, this case just kind of needs its last little de-dust, and this system should be ready to go. So now let's button up the back, or well, tidy up the back. Yes, I got the back cable managed as half, which I'll probably have in there for now, and we're gonna plug in this one into chassis fan 2, which is our AIO fan, so that way all our fans can have equilibrium of speed. So this case will speed up and slow down based on CPU temp. It shouldn't be a problem for this system, really. So yeah, so pretty much this system is now ready, besides from literally a power supply. But what I want to do is actually just rip out my power supply out of my machine, just plug this board in and just fire her up and just see if you have an image. Since I'm anyway going to be swapping out my 3060 to the 3090, and the 3060 is going to move in here, so I might as well test it and just see if she powers on. Granted, I do not have a boot drive at the moment, so I'm going to have to like salvage a boot drive from somewhere, be it an HDD or something. Oh, well, actually, but I think about it, I actually have an M.2. I have the SK Hynix M.2. Which means, never mind, I actually have an OS drive. Although it's not wiped. I have this 1 terabyte SK Hynix I can throw in there. So never mind, we have a boot drive, which means the only thing we are missing for this thing now actually is I'm gonna move this one up here and use her up here. But that means the only thing we are missing is legitimately a power supply. So yes, I'm gonna throw in this SK Hynix one, get my laptop up and running and ready, and then we're gonna turn that system off and start to see if this system will post. I had the system on, but she's going past DRAM, and then she doesn't boot to the CPU. I have a feeling it might just be dust in the socket, so I'm gonna try reseating the CPU and see what happens. Okay, so while you guys are half-assed listening to spinning drives, I got the system up and running. It turns out that the issue is that the RAM cannot downclock itself far enough to work fine with the CPU. Anywho, here we have the 3090. Now, it is the white edition. Doesn't fit that well in with my case, but you know what? Shit happens. She's shonky boy. So there you have these Strix 49. God, how heavy she is! Oh yeah, no shit, he says. Yeah, you don't say. Well, that's a Rogue Strix ruler. That's another Rogue Strix sticker of some sort. That's this thing. That's just a thank you thingamabob. I'll take the sticker. I'll gladly take this Asus thingamabob. The rest of this stuff we do not care that much about. So it can go back down the box. And then the box closes. Then this box just stays on top of my shelf. And then the 980 Ti temporarily moves inside of my 3060 box and just gets a quick label on it called 30 980 Ti and call it a day. Clock. So there you are. There is 3090 which is going to go in my main system. There she is in the full glory. 3 fans. Then we have our 3 8-pins, our SLI or NV link. She's in performance mode, yes, good. It hasn't even been opened, so I am gonna open this card, reapply at least thermal paste. I don't know if I don't have any thermal pads, so I can't reapply the thermal pads, but I'm gonna reapply thermal paste to her. So yeah. Well, so here's the 4090 or 4080 taken off. Should just remove the retaining arm and then all the screws that are around this bracket, and then you can pull off the... She's a little stuck on there, so don't be afraid to pull a little bit. So that's the back plate, and then we have the actual block. Gonna pull her off here. So basically here is the retaining arm. So this thing basically just clips in there. So yeah, so now I'm gonna clean that off and then re-put it on here. So how I clean my stuff is a little bit from which and which. So I got this toothbrush here. Just put isoalk in the socket. I've done a dry wipe first. And what we're gonna do is that we're just gonna carefully just rub down the socket. It's gonna look messy to begin with, but after we have done it a little bit, we're gonna take paper and we're gonna just dry the socket. There, you see we got a fair amount out. Then we're gonna put isoalk in the socket again. Isoalk 99% won't kill any of your stuff, so doesn't matter if you use a fair amount. Then we're gonna rub a bit. So this is to get everything, so be careful so don't rip them off, but it's to get like anything out from like in between the VRMs and, or not the VRMs, but the capacitors, and just get them out of there. Just clean her up nice and good. So there you can see, still a little bit in between here, but not the worst thing in the world. Now what I need to do is actually dry down my toothbrush, because it's got the residue from thermal paste and stuff. Then we're going to do one more dab of isoalk down in there. And do one last little clean out in between these. Just one last little clean out. Some people are gonna say that this is overkill, and you're probably right, but I'm just like, why not? Might as well do it properly so I don't have to do it again for like half a year here. I do try to do at least a half a year inspection. I dust her out after though, of course, but so there we go, that's the socket done. Now I gotta do the cooler. Do that one. Just take a brush through the fins here a little bit. and do that. So I'll do that off camera and I'll be back once that's done. Okay, got thermal paste on there, got her screwed back into the chassis. So now the back plate is going back on, and I'm actually going to be ordering a custom anime with my own anime print on the back. I'm going to be ordering the black one though, since I am going to be putting a water block on this thing eventually. So yeah, so now it's ready just to pop on the back, and this card is ready for installation. The big question now is power and, well, how we're going to do it about this system, because this system is currently not booting. I pretty much know that this system won't be booting, because currently I have my last DPS connector and my 24 pin in this system, as well as my power supply, just because I was going to test if she actually fires. And I mean, she fires, but it does not boot because of the RAM, or so it seems. So, yeah. That's kind of where we are. And now, here is the question. I might actually do an all-nighter tonight, simply because I want to get back to my waking up at 7 in the morning type of diddly-o doodly. Which technically speaking of we're doing on Tuesday this week. But the thing is, I, you know, slept in the car, so I didn't go to sleep until a little late. I did get up though the next morning, correct time, got out, blah 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 blah, no problem. The day after that though, well, so pretty much today, well, I didn't wake up at the right time, so here I am. So yeah, so I'm gonna get this backplate on, and we'll see what happens. I got the GPU in here, we're in the P-BIOS. Yes. So she's together, so she's ready to get put in the system. So it has this like thingamabob, which is like, it seems like it's supposed to be somewhere over one screw or something. I just don't know where. So that's fine enough. So we should have RGB along here and all of that. This system is just not working. So that's not gonna work. But we know that it passes CPU test, which means we know the expensive components, quote unquote, work. Well, LGA 1151 stuff isn't really that expensive nowadays, but which means I need to... Oh, well, I mean, I'm getting a different power supply anyway. This is my main power supply. It's going back to my older machine. But I mean, I am getting a... well, I'll just put that other stick back in here. Just so I have it in here. So, well, the system practically works. The only thing this thing does not have at the moment is literal working RAM. Okay, wait a minute. I gotta take the power supply out. Whoopsie daisy! Almost forgot that. That could have been a hilarious moment. Go to do my other thing, just like, oh wait, maybe I should have a power supply. I mean, I had a random ass other power supply once in a lifetime, but I don't have it anymore. The problem is, the guy I'm gonna buy a power supply from is an 850, RM 850, but it is a white one. I mean, should be fine. I mean, Oh god, come on. Side panel, come on. But that means we now, theoretically speaking, have a system just on standby, an i5. So for anybody wondering, an overview. Basically, it's the random SK Hynix M.2 I have. It's a i5 6400. It's just a random ass Corsair. I don't even remember the model number of it even. Just a random ass Corsair AIO. A 120 mil, because that's a low wattage CPU, so it doesn't matter, and a 3060. I have 2 drives and a B360 motherboard, F motherboard, and that's about it. Fractal Design Focus G mid-tower case, about it. So now is to pop that shite up in there, start rewiring her, and wire in a 3090, and well, see if we run into a power supply over current problem or not. Okay, I got her in. She's a schwank boy. So I got my power that was going for my 3060, and then my one power going for was going for my 980 Ti. Preferably I would run 3 separate cables. I will probably order some cable mod cables to do that. So now I just got the wire back in my 24 pin, my EPS, and call it a day. So then the next thing I need to order is, well, 64 gig kit to RAM for this one, and get some 2133 megahertz RAM for that one, and call it a day. By any luck of the imagination, that will all just work, and it'll be fine. So let me do that. Okay, got the back together again. Got our 6 pin, my 24 pin. My 3 PCIe for the graphics card and all of that stuff together. So now, hopefully, I should never have... okay, yes. Which means now I will have place for an SFP card in here. And well, potentially a sound card. Depending. But hopefully now I should only need to have one card in my system doing both game and encoding. So that way I don't have to deal with 2 cards. Because it does clean up my case, and I do have other cards I would prefer to have in here that requires a full-size slot. So yeah. And yes, it's indeed the motherboard that is all out and going. So yeah, so I'm gonna get her down on the floor and let's power her up. Okay, here goes nothing. 3060's on. TV's off because I forgot to turn her back on. We got a boot. And we have screen output. Wow. Okay, we got her up and running. I'm downloading the driver now. I'm gonna jump into safe mode. We're gonna DDU this bitch, and then we're gonna install the actual 3090 driver. Reboot her up and actually do some tests now at 4K. See what she can do. I'm really wondering about what kind of frames and stuff I'm gonna have now. Because I've been seeing some gameplay with 3090s at Ultra, with like Microsoft Flight Sim for example. Seeing some pretty promising frames. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so I guess I could show you guys how to do the DDU in case you have never done it. Basically, hold shift while you press a restart on your Windows. Then you go troubleshoot. And then you go startup options and then restart. And then once you have restarted, you press number 4 to go safe mode without networking. You're gonna just open your file explorer with either clicking it or using Windows E like Raya used to do. Then we're gonna download the DDU display driver. I already have it on this one. So we're gonna open it. You can find it by just writing DDU. So we're gonna do GPU. It's in NVIDIA. Now, I should have already done all the options I need to do in here. Yeah, everything here is fine. So basically what we're gonna do and clean and not restart. Because I'm gonna install the new driver before we restart. So you're gonna click that one. It's gonna do its funky stuff. So you also gotta go to the NVIDIA driver site and download your driver. We'll reinstall GeForce Experience afterwards, but I like to install the straight driver when I'm doing a DDU. And then hopefully tomorrow, by any luck, Oscar has any DIMMs, we can get that system to post as well. And reinstall Windows on that thing. Because the CPU works, it's clearly a RAM issue since it goes to DRAM and then it restarts. The CPU test is fine because it doesn't stop on CPU because it checks CPU first on that board. And I mean, if the CPU was totally not fine, the system wouldn't even power, so... Yeah. I also plugged in the micro USB cable that I forgot to plug in. Now there's only one USB 3 header or 2 header on this board, so the front USB 2 is not gonna work, but doesn't really matter for its purpose anyway. No, we are not gonna open that. Fuck off, my... Yes, I want to exit. So we're gonna exit DDU. We're gonna pop back into here and into our DDU. We're gonna open our driver installer and let that unpack. And then you just follow the prompt, any other display driver installed. So I'll be back once the system is back up in normal Windows again. Okay, we are back. So I just wanna give you guys a little bit of... If you don't get your GPU to work, that means you're gonna have to install it manually. So basically what you're gonna need to do is go to File Horse and download the exe file from there if you've done as me that you don't have the Microsoft Store installed. And then you need to go into a PowerShell window and then you need to go add dash package dash path, and then you need to copy the path of your location and then add another backslash, if I remember how to do a gosh darn backslash, which I do now not remember. Or was it this one? No. How the fuck do you do a backslash again? Well, I know on... Or you can do that on a US layout. Slash and then the name of the package. So we're just gonna rename the entire name of this package. Control A, Control C. And then go in here and add that on there and then I click enter. Although now it's telling me that the term add package. Oh yeah, because I forgot to add APPX package, bro. So you want to go add APPX pack. What do you mean cannot be found? Excuse me? What? Never mind, I found out my problem. I thought developer mode was already turned on, but I forgot to enable it again after I reinstalled my Windows. So now if we go up, just copy that entire thing and then we reopen PowerShell. It needs to be run in administrator, but for me everything opens as administrator by default. If you then go add pack, cannot be found. What the fuck? None the fuck. A potential parameter cannot be found. Here. Oh, don't tell me it is because of the space. Add APX by parameter exception. What the fuck? It's fine, I just need to restart my computer. Okay, let's try this again. Add-aptx package. And then we need to add our address again. Which is gonna be downloads. Or do I need to do local disk? Users, I know, I can't find it through the Microsoft Store. Neko Live Gaming. Downloads, and then copy that. And then paste it. Then get our backslash from there, and then rename our that one, Control A, copy, go back in here, and then put it there. Narina, fuck! I know the problem. The problem is that in my username on my PC, I have a space between Neko Live and Gaming. It's not a fan of that. I moved it. Sorry about the cut there, I got too close to the TV, so it started asking me to cast to the TV. But anywho, it's installed now. So just know that when you try to install an APPX package to PowerShell, you gotta have it on a drive or on an account which does not have a space in the username, because it gets confused. But now, theoretically speaking, I should be able to open a video control panel. Wow! God damn you. Okay, we are running a Port Royal. We're also on the Pro mode now, so I can't flip the camera. But we're gonna be running a Time Spy. Now, the big question here is gonna be, is our CPU gonna end up being our problem? Because I've had this thing do some funky shit on my CPU while I'm trying to do CPU profiler, or it's doing the CPU task. Which means I may need to up the voltage a little bit on my CPU again. I may have to do that because it's not fully stable. So I might have to bring it up to like 132 or 134 instead of 130. But we'll see what Time Spy decides to do. Well, I mean, we're doing 61 here at 4K. Which means we're looking very good. This is like a 3 times improvement from the 3060. Well, looking snazzy, boy. I'm gonna continue this vlog in Pro mode because I actually have another case now that actually lets me easier hold the phone this way. So I'm gonna be doing most of my phone vlogs from Pro mode from now on. But I've just upped my CPU voltage to 134 because I don't know what it is, but it does some artifacting. I can pull up a picture right now. You see this like a red artifacting stuff happening. Basically that happens when it's running the profile test. It doesn't do it every time, but it does it like every second or third time. This time it did it on the first time. Why do I need to apply my overclock? Well, of course, because you haven't had a normal restart since, well, it crashed again. Now I'm gonna go quickly into IQ first now, go back onto my Commander Core XT and my cooling. I'm gonna change my case fan group to go based on my NVIDIA GeForce 3090. I'm guessing Temp 1 is my package. And I got one way to figure that out. That is to use hardware info. So I can set my clocks and shit again. Come under the sensor. So system we do not care about. CPU we do not care about. Memory we do not care about. CPU stuff here we care about. The ROG Strix stuff. Or no, yes, that's the motherboard we do not need. That's you, we do not care about you, we do not care about you, we do not care about you. Or the DIMMs. Or the drives. The only thing we care about here is literally the 3060. No, the 3080 I mean. No, the 3090 I mean. Bruh. All of these drives. Thank you, GPU. Yes, the first one is package 5555. Okay, which means now these will ramp up and down based on the correct tempers. You're launched, yes. Skip past that. So let's try this again, but basically what I was seeing, I didn't get a finished score because obviously it just hard crashed. But it was doing the CPU stuff. But basically I had an average of between, it was probably an average about 57-ish. But it was going from like 42, 45, all the way up to like 70, 74, depending on where it was. So yeah, so we're gonna go full screen. We're gonna do benchmark. We're gonna start with Time Spy, and then we're gonna run Port Royal afterwards. And then let's just see what happens. I'll come back to you guys once I have the result. So now it's doing the CPU test. Up the voltage, and by any luck it will actually succeed this time without any artifacting. Knock on wood. If the test wants to actually load, there we go. Now it's lagging like that. It's normal, not the most powerful CPU in the world, so I'm expecting it to lag. At least the CPU test ain't that long. I'm technically speaking 0.04 volts. Shouldn't equal that much more thermal load or thermal output. So it should be fine, shouldn't have to adjust any curves or anything. Huh. Let's see what we have. 9,000, average is 8480, so our overclock is actually doing quite fine. 1440p Ultra, 155 FPS, which is promising because 1440p is what I mainly game on, so that's great. We are at actually the best is 10088, so we'll probably tweak the, oh god, we'll probably tweak the best, tweak my overclock a little bit more, but that means we are actually about 500, 600 above the average. And look at that. So I'm going to do some tweaking and I'll come back with you. Okay, we are back. So I went up to 160 on the core and 1000 on the memory. Started seeing some jitteriness. So I turned her down to 130 again, 900 on the memory, saved it. 9077, still plus 55, 1440p, Battlefield 5. Apex Legends 140 plus, GTA 5, don't even play that much, Red Dead 90 plus. I don't think there's gonna be a problem, so that's gonna be our actual set point. Now what we're gonna do is jump into Microsoft Flight Sim, which I've been having some FPS issues with, just at 1440p. And now we're gonna see how this does in, well, a bigger computer. There. So It's time to see. I will turn this off. I'll have the top light on, just so I can kind of see what the fuck is going on. And today we will actually have sound. Because I have the soundbar plugged in. So now it's also when I figure out how loud this thing is actually turned. Because today I actually don't have my Bluetooth hooked up there since I'm using my earphones. So we're not gonna do much, we're just gonna spawn in the A3. And then you have an update. Well, at least I got couch ethernet, I guess. So we'll be back once this thing is done. Well, then I'll just launch it and just use my keyboard and stuff meanwhile. And then just test it and just see. I have a fair amount of mods and I've always had stutters and issues with farming sim. So hopefully it will be fine on this one. So options, where are we as far as my graphics stuff? Very high custom, frame rate limit. 120 is fine. Resolution scaling 200. Field of view, sure. Camera bobbing. So apply. Then let that restart real quick. And then we'll go into our advanced and see what's actually set to what. And then DLSS is quality. Screen, space shaping, area sharpness, very high. I'll keep them at high. Object draw distance, sure. Max meter 7, sure. I'll keep you at 4. You at high. 200, blah 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 blah. Texture resolution high. Fine. And realistic beacon lights are on. Reapply that, and then let's just pop into our recent save. Well, first of all, let me go on my downloadable content, and then go on stuff that needs to be updated, and then just details, update, 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 update. So that way everything is updated, so that way everything is running to its best potential. So hopefully what I'm hoping now is that I can just frame rate cap a lot of my games at a specific, minimum scenario FPS while recording. So that way I can just do all my recording, all my gaming with just one card, call it a day. Since that means I can kind of settle down, and then once I finally do my Intel 3900K upgrade, I can just go ham with AIOs and hardline water cooling, and then have this system be around to be a good ass system for like 3-4 years to come, and not have that be any problem. Well, I can start to update this stuff. Okay, then all that's gonna update. And then I'm probably gonna have to restart my game, and then we can actually jump into the game and actually see what kind of performance we have. And for once and all time, finally Giants have done it. Put in an actual setting you can change for what frame rate cap you wanna have. And you can go all the way up to 240, which is perfect. Okay, good. And then I'm gonna quit it, I'm gonna restart it. Just to get it to update my mods, just make sure that they actually work. Ow! Fuck. Okay, career. Cronk, cronk. Let's see what happens. Let's see what kind of frames you're sitting with. Then my Discord vent. Perfect timing. I'm loading up a save. I mean, I can load this. Oh god. Yes, I can load the save. Yes. And then it's gonna change screen the rest for going back, but should still be fine. No freak overall min input. So let's see what kind of frames. I'm expecting it to be jittery to begin with. As it has kind of always been. So enter if we start. Okay, so we start with a jittery mess. I'm used to starting with that. I don't know what it is, but I always have a jittery mess once I first enter the game. I haven't found out yet what it is. But after you have been kind of yeeting around for a bit and kind of had the world kind of loaded shit, then it kind of smooths out. So the big question is, what is the problem? Why is it doing it? I still don't know what's doing it, but... So 111, now this is at 4K. I mean, if I have 193 after that jitteriness is gone, if I have 100 something there, on 1440p, or I don't know if this is 140p, I'll double check all of this when it's actually back on my main system again. We will hopefully have, and I can adjust the settings a little bit, and change my frame rate cap or whatnot, depending on what I feel like. I do want to have at least 100 FPS. So I got to test with the recording and stuff after I've gotten it back on my main machine, because then it's also running 3 monitors. And I found out that the XLU error, that has with Mozilla to do, so I just need to update Firefox. So they're not, oh that's fine. But yeah, this is looking pretty good, 100 something FPS. So I would call that a success. And then we're just gonna quit right to desktop. Good. Now, are you done? Yes, you are. So launch Modern Warfare. Oh god. Yeah. Set optimal. No. I'll set all of that myself. Allow. Now I'm gonna let this do shader optimization and stuff. If this just crashed, then I swear. You haven't even done the update. Yep, overlay updated. Yep. Oh, that's why. Because you fucking up and stopped you because of a fucking internal update. Oh, why? Activision, why? Ugh. Oh yes, playing now. Well, Call of Duty, there. Well, yes, I know the update is complete. Just do your shader optimization and call it a day. Jesus. I probably made like 3 videos today. Well, it's gonna be 3 videos because I have another project after this. Well, yes, I know. Update completed successfully, okay? Thank you. Games, we're gonna be in Modern Warfare. Thank you. Then meanwhile you're doing your shit in there, I'm gonna go into my settings and see what my graphics are set at. So 1440p, full screen borderless, blah 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 blah, VSync off, custom frame rate limit 170, all of that is fine. Quality, NVIDIA DLSS. I'm just gonna put this to quality for now. To see. Texture resolution high, high, long, particle quality high. I'm just gonna try to put everything to like high-ish. Now, one thing I have not checked here is when it comes to my ray tracing and whatnot. Normal, ultra, apply. Yeah. So we'll see what we can do after that's done. For now we're laying at 8695. We'll see what we can get. Now this is at 2560p. Or 4K if you will. Because I have a few things we're going to do. Because I'm going to try to integrate something into my table to make my entire life putting up my wheel and stuff just be a straight no problem whatsoever. Because I want to make some kind of quick disconnect stuff. So what I'm thinking about is making some custom cables. So that way I have just one like cable that is always connected to my wheel. So I just smack my wheel on. I just plug that cable coming from that one into my quote-unquote quick disconnect. It's going to be just like a screw-in, basically a VGA cable but on cracks. Screw that down there, basically a DB25-ish connector and whatnot, and just chunk it down, call it a day, and so that way I only have one cable to disconnect and connect my wheel to like my wheel, and then as far as the pedal goes, I have an actual cable. I just screw the cable into the quick disconnect. So granted it's 2 cables, but then I don't have to do the USB because that one will always be connected. And the same with the power. The power is going to be connected the moment you plug into the disconnect. Which means the only thing to connect is the pedal to the quick disconnect and the wheel to the quick disconnect plate. And call it a day. There. Oh, I can't move it because I have not the longest USB cable in the world for this thing right now. We're just gonna use Neko Slayer for now. Can't even remember if I've even played on this map even. And it's capture the flag. And I mean, we're actually moving around. We're laying at about 120 and this is at 4K. I mean, it's a 60 FPS. That's a grenade. We're in. This is the wrong Counter-Strike. Woohoo! Yes, I can feel that. Yep. Of course, this is not the one I prefer to play. The mouse I prefer to play with, and it's not. Your fucker. But yes, we're staying above 100. That is fluctuating a little bit. It's like, eh. But then again, this is mostly with stuff mostly at high. So it's like, okay, I am back and holy heavens. I've kinda cleaned the floor and table here. System in its full glory, back in its place. Got the 3090 there. Still have to do my RAM upgrade and my whole 3900K upgrade, but that's a later project. Got her back in here, cleaned the table a bit. I've actually fully removed the Black Widow V3 now. I'm fully over on the K65 for now. So yes, I am only using a 60% keyboard for the time being. We'll see. I'll maybe go back to full size eventually, but it will probably be a custom Norwegian one instead. Right now, with the type of stuff I'm doing with simulators and stuff, it's actually easier to having just a quick disconnectable K65, especially when I'm doing troubleshootings with different machines and stuff. At the time, it makes my job a little easier. So now really it's just a bit of more cleanup to do in the sofa really, and then it's done. And then we're gonna go over to, well, our second project, which has to do with these relays. So these are just normal switch relays. So basically, you give pin 30 and pin 86, no, pin 85 and pin 86, 12 volts, so plus and minus, and that will then, well, close pin 30 to 87A and open pin 30 to 30, or close pin 30 to 37. So pin 87 is normally open, pin 87A is normally closed. So basically when you give this power, it bridges that pin and this pin on the end here. So basically what that does is that we can use these relays to run to our USB joystick encoder to bridge the comms, the grounds together to interact in the game instead of having it going through the ignition switch and while frying out both the encoder itself and my USB hub. So this is our solution for that. Just simple like 12 volt 20/30 amp relays. Works very well. So yeah, so this is our solution. So that is the next project. Just get these ready and wired up to ground and to the ignition switch, so that way when I get a new USB encoder, everything is wired up and ready. So it's just for me to just plug it into the USB encoder, plug the USB encoder in, and just remap stuff and then just call it a day. So yeah, and that's really it. And that would be pretty much the end of this upgrade, and I think I'm going to take the rest in the next episode, because I don't know how long this video is, since this video has been a mix of, well, I don't know if this is the same video even. I think the last episode ended up being its own video just about the pedals and stuff, but it's been 39 installing, it's been trying to get that system up to work, it's been well, I believe something else, I don't remember, but yeah. Well, my poor NCE, even though I disregarded the message, my poor NCE is still complaining that there is a fault. Even though I have already discarded the fault. Basically was complaining about the net sensor 199, which is my bedroom sensor. Because I disconnected the Vago on it while it was on, and it freaked out about that, as I obviously knew was gonna happen. But anywho, it's fine. I'm gonna run a proper cable to that one eventually. All the cables in here is gonna be changed out to 4-pole, just 4-pole quote-unquote LED wire. So it's basically red, black, and I believe it was green and white, or green and blue. And we're gonna rerun that through all of our net sensors once this NCE finally moves in a rack out in the hallway together with all its contactors and all that, and we get this entire heating system fully over on Johnson control instead of manual. So yeah, so I would say thank you guys for watching this video with Live Gaming here. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you liked the video, I would be greatly appreciated, and as always check out links down below for my socials and all that shenanigans. And until further notice, stay tuned to see awesome in Live